In the legendary history of the American space race, 3 names loom large: Mercury, Gemini, Apollo. Project Mercury sent a man to space and brought him home alive. And of course, Project Apollo put a man on the moon. Project Gemini bridged the important steps in between, while still finding time to spread a little holiday cheer. May 25th, 1961, Washington, D.C. Addressing Congress, President John F. Kennedy laid out the stakes of the Cold War. The Soviet Union had beaten the U.S. to space, but it would not be the first to reach the moon.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
Just 3 weeks earlier, NASA had launched the first American into space, 161 miles up. Now, the goal was 225,000 miles away, and they had a little more than 8 years to do it. Project Mercury laid the foundation. The objectives were clear: get a man into orbit, fine-tune the mechanics, and return him home safely. It was a success. But just the beginning. Next came Gemini. Since it carried crews of 2, NASA named the program after the Latin word for twins. At its heart were 4 goals: study how longer space missions affect the body, enable spacecraft to rendezvous and dock in orbit, refine re-entry and landing techniques, and perform extravehicular activities called spacewalks. 12 missions, 10 of them crewed, carried out these goals. During Gemini IV, Ed White became the first American to spacewalk as he floated outside the spacecraft. Gemini VIII, commanded by future moonwalker Neil Armstrong and piloted by David Scott, was the first to dock with another vehicle in orbit. A critical step for future lunar missions. Despite a life-threatening spin caused by a jammed rocket thruster, Armstrong's calm leadership ensured Gemini VIII's safe return. Missions grew longer, one lasting nearly 2 weeks, giving scientists a better idea of how microgravity affects the human body. To compare, the longest Mercury mission was only 34 hours. Pilots perfected spacecraft control for safe re-entry and splashdowns. NASA added onboard computers for navigation, giving astronauts better control of the spacecraft. But it wasn't all serious business. In December 1965, during Gemini VI's rendezvous prep with Gemini VII, astronauts Wally, Schirra, and Thomas Stafford reported a mysterious sighting.
We have an object, looks like a satellite, going from north to south, probably in a polar orbit.
Suddenly, Jingle Bells played over the radio. Had they spotted Santa? Alas, no. Schirra had smuggled aboard a harmonica, and Stafford joined with sleigh bells. This marked the first musical performance broadcast from space, sparking laughter on the ground.
You're too much, 6.
And in orbit. The instruments were donated to the Smithsonian by the Gemini VI crew and are on display at the National Air and Space Museum. Project Gemini was an unsung hero of the space race. It proved astronauts could work and thrive in space, clearing a path to the moon. On July 20th, 1969, Apollo 11 delivered on Kennedy's ambitious goal, thanks to the hard work and spirit of those who came before. Be sure to check out more Smithsonian stories on another episode of National Treasure.